I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will you join me in prayer, please? Supreme Architect of the universe, we invoke thy blessing at this time. May this meeting thus begun in peace and closed in harmony. Amen. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Thursday, March 13th, 2014 Public Business Meeting of the Allegany County Commissioners. Gentlemen, are there any additions or deletions to our agenda this evening?
No, sir.
Nope. Okay. Gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our February 27th, 2014 Public Business Meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I have nothing to report under the report of the President. Moving right into presentations. Item number 1, gentlemen, is the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association 2014 Girls Indoor Track State Champion 2A. Our track coach is here. Nope.
I've got a statement from Coach DeRosa.
Okay.
Okay. I had the honor of being at Mountain Ridge earlier today to honor these young ladies that truly outstanding athletes. Coach DeRosa couldn't be here, but he did send a written statement. It starts, I would like to thank all those in attendance today, community officials, board members, Mountain Ridge administration, for the support and opportunity to allow these athletes to compete. It is with great pleasure to be a part of the presentation for these two student athletes. Madison and Molly have an incredible work ethic and passion for running. I often catch both of them at the college doing workouts in the evening after our regular training at the school. They often push each other so hard at practice that I put them in separate groups to give each a break from the stress and strain of such hard training. But that doesn't last long. They are soon back pushing each other to their limits. My only concern is that they push themselves too hard to the point of injury, which they always try to hide. Molly's state championship race was a display of her will to win. She stayed with the number 1 seeded runner through 15 of the 16 laps, and then with great confidence, she sprinted to the lead to get the win. Molly's time of 11 minutes, 3 seconds is a new school record by 1 minute and 20 seconds and ranks Molly among the top 50 3,200-meter runners in the nations. Wow. Now, 3,200 meters, that's approximately 2 miles, Mike. You couldn't run that in 2 days, and she did it in 11 minutes. And Madison State Championship race was equally amazing. After a very fast pace for the first 2 laps, Madison surged to the lead with about 300 meters to go and held on to win by 1 second over a very fast field. Madison's time of 2 minutes 18 seconds is a new school record by over 14 seconds. Madison's time of 2:18 ranks her 56th nationally. So we'd like to graduate both young ladies. Quite an achievement.
Wow. Well, Madison and Molly,
don't start about your track record, Mike.
Back in the day, I was quite the athlete. Yeah. And well, it'd be cross country or it'd be football or volleyball. And I've shown a lot of people here my athletic ability. And
they did before stopwatches. So let's just go with that.
But I think we ought to do, I may have a chance to outrun you all since it's as cold as it is outside and with the wind. And so I'm ready. So you ready? Let's go. Let's go. Hey, you guys conduct the meeting. We'll just... No? You need me?
Would one of you ladies...
Is that what you need me to
No,
say?
sir, we don't. We'll shorten this meeting up quick. If one of you ladies would just call 911 before you go out and then wait down at the YMCA to direct the rescue squad in his direction. So
Michael, when baseball comes around, are you going to be third base?
We're very proud of you, and someone that is a Bell alumni, and especially proud of this. This is fantastic, and I do know Coach DeRosa personally, and Norm is a fantastic coach, and I know that how proud of he is. So thank you very much. Dan, please.
Can I add something to that?
You can, sir.
Just so everybody's aware, indoor track, I don't think until recently has been offered again at Mountain Ridge. It took, I think, a hiatus due to everything being so far away, and the fact that these girls ran so quickly and so fast during the winter when they raced maybe 2 or 3 times tops is even more remarkable. From my own experience doing indoor track, only getting to run a few times on an actual track instead of either in the hallway, upstairs, or in the snow. Basically, it makes it even more difficult to run that quickly at that level this time of the year. Puts them in a real good position for spring, when likely to be seeing them back, I think, in May after outdoor stage. So even more impressive.
So I got some time for training.
Couple months.
And Dan, before we move beyond this, why don't you give them a little background on your history of running so that they know that exactly who they're speaking with here. So.
I think they probably already know.
Okay, very good. Because I think everyone in the audience ought to know that, you know. So, please, if you would, sir.
Not really. I, much like them, had a lot of success at Bell under Coach DeRosa with cross-country team championships and individual championships and indoor track, outdoor track championships, much the same way that this gentleman next to me had success in track, and we're very aware of what they're doing and know how impressive it is and know what it speaks to for their future going to college and beyond. So.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Well, good. Well, Molly and Madison, if we could have you up here, I'd like to give you these presentations, please.
Watch how quickly they get up here.
Right up in the center, please.
Madison, okay. Hi, Molly. I have a Madison, too.
Next to him.
Yeah, I don't bite.
This may seem like deja vu.
I actually did complete one cross-country race. The rest of them we don't talk about, but I did at least scream. So, anyhow. Okay. All right. They both read the same except for the names. So, Allegheny County Government, official citation, Madison Offstein and Molly Offstein, or let me do Madison's first. Madison Offstein, state champion, 2014 girls indoor track 2A state championship meet, 800 meters, 2 minutes, 18 seconds, and 200s.
Thank you.
Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association, Prince George's Sports Complex, February 17th, 2014. Congratulations with all 3 county commissioners and the Great Seal.
She ran that race quicker than you read that.
Maybe she probably did. Okay, Molly. Allegheny County Government, official citation, Molly Offstein, state championship, 2014 girls indoor track 2A state championship meet, 3,200 meters. What is that?
11 minutes, 30 seconds, and
7 tenths. Wow, I can't. Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association, Prince George's Sports Complex, February 17, 2014. Congratulations with the Great Seal of Allegheny County and all 3 county commissioners. Congratulations and thank you. Congratulations. We all look over here. One more. And make Allegheny County proud. Thank you again, ladies. Congratulations. Thanks, Phil. They got hot dog eating contests or anything like that?
Not at the high school level, sir. You'll have to get into the college level activities for that.
Okay, gentlemen, item number 2, it is Social Work Month. Ladies, would you join us up here, please? Who is going to speak first? Okay, please.
Well, Commissioners, thank you for having us this evening again. And on behalf of the Allegany Garrett Social Work Caucus of the Western Maryland AHEC, I am very honored to accept this proclamation yet again. We are a very hardworking professional group, and we are usually underappreciated. And I really am flattered to be here and accept this and acknowledge all of the wonderful work that the social workers do in this county, not just Department of Social Services, but in all health services. And we have a nice variety. I'm with Allegany County HRDC as the Maryland Access Point Coordinator, and I am the chair of the Social Work Month Committee. And we have Lisa Green. She is a long-term care ombudsman for the county, overseeing 8 nursing facilities and 8 assisted living facilities. And she is the chair of the Social Work Caucus, the Allegany Garrett Social Work Caucus. We have Valerie Van Hollen, a longtime social worker for the community, currently with Western Maryland Health System, and Kathy Whitaker with Western Maryland Health System as the clinical manager there for behavioral health services. Thank you again.
Certainly. Jennifer and ladies, if we could have you up, would you like to say anything? Okay, if we could have you up here, please. Allegany County Government Proclamation. Whereas March is National Social Work Month and social workers change futures by assisting, guiding, and helping others to successfully negotiate life challenges. And whereas social workers serve in a variety of roles, including advocate, resource coordinator, therapist, educator, and legislative lobbyist, and whereas social workers strive to make a difference in helping people resolve problems, cope with distressing situations, and locate resources in improving their social functioning. Whereas now therefore we, as the County Commissioners, proudly recognize and honor our social workers who make life better in Allegany County residents by proclaiming March 2014 to be Social Work Month. And Allegany County encourage all citizens to recognize and appreciate the life-enhancing contributions of social workers, signed by all 3 county commissioners with the great seal of Allegany County affixed. Blessings and thank you so much for what you do. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
True asset. Uh-oh.
She got you. Like
She got us?
She got us.
Let's give them a round of applause.
You guys ready? We're ready?
Yeah.
I hope I look. Thank you so much.
Young lady, thank you.
Certainly. At this time, I'd like to turn the podium over to Ms. Madison. Please.
I just wanted to say a few words about my coach. I firmly believe there's people
This kind of speaks to what Dan was saying. Coach Doris has been an incredible coach.
And that's fine, take your time. So.
You take
Certainly.
Just imagine if he was here.
Yeah.
She surely didn't do that when she started the race. She was off like a shot.
But I believe like you always meet people in your life and you're like, I'm glad I met that guy. And I had to write an essay this year for one of the many college essays, and one I wrote about was him, and he really has changed my life. So this is one of my favorite memories, or one of my first memories I had with Coach DeRosa. I vividly remember my coach telling me my freshman year that he thought I was going to run under 5:40 in the 1600-meter run. We were running at the cemetery. We were doing the cemetery loop, if you know where that is. It's a hard one. And I was struggling to keep up with him as a freshman. And I thought he was crazy to expect me, a ninth grader who had never run under 6:10 in the mile, to run a time that fast. In fact, no one from our school had ever broken 6 minutes because Mountain Ridge had just started up until that point. It was physically impossible in my mind, and I just nodded and said, I'll try my best, as I struggled to keep up with him. That year I placed 7th at the state meet in the 1600-meter run. I ran a time of 5:34.5, 5.5 painful seconds below the goal my coach had set for me at the start of the season. If someone had told me that I was going to do that at the beginning of my freshman year, I would have written he or she off as crazy and not given it a second thought. But my coach knew what I was capable of before I knew. He saw my potential from day one and helped me to develop the confidence I now possess to tackle not only my races, but also any challenges I'm faced with in life. Since my freshman year, my running career has taken off. I'm now a state champion and a record holder in the 4x800 meter relay and a nationally ranked 800 meter runner. None of the achievements listed above would have been possible without the support of my coach. I was not a natural prodigy when it came to running, and I had to start out at mediocrity and work my way up to the top of my sport over the span of my 4 high school years. I believe this ascent took discipline, heart, and most importantly, the support of my coach as I encountered many obstacles on my journey. He taught me not to be discouraged by failure and to learn how to grow from it rather than let it dissuade me from going after my dreams. He taught me that sometimes it's okay to cut myself a break, as I'm extremely driven and often too hard on myself. He taught me to always compete and to not be intimidated by more qualified runners. I think my coach is a believer in underdogs. But most importantly, and above all, my coach, Norman DeRosa, is a believer in me.
Thank you. Commissioners, we're going to move into our action agenda. Item number 3 is resolution number 14-7. This is the 2014 USDA Rawlings Water Loan Resolution. Mr. Bennett, a CPA and Director of Finance, is here to share the details.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I don't think it's fair I have to follow that. I can't do it. I'm not going to cry over this loan. Sorry.
Well, I would say, is there anyone that's inspired you as that much? So if
We'll save that for later.
oh my gosh.
You're going to miss
Before I actually do start crying, tonight we're just looking for authorization for to close on the USDA loan. It's $190,000. It's for the Rawlings water line that's currently being worked on. We enacted bond bill 6-13 back in October to authorize this loan. We're looking to close on it next week. It's a 40-year term at 1.875% interest, really good interest rate. It'll be repaid by the users of the system through surcharges as we start billing. And it's part of the ongoing Rawlings Water and Sewer project that will continue for the next year to 2 years probably. So tonight we're simply looking for approval so that we can close the loan and get reimbursed for our expenditures.
Commissioners, any questions? I'd like to entertain a motion that we adopt Resolution 14-7, the 2014 USDA Rawlings Water Loan Resolution. Is there a said motion?
So move.
Is there a
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Item number 4 is the Allegheny County 2014 priority letter to the Maryland Department of Transportation. Ms. Wigfield, our transportation planner, is here.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
The annual transportation priority letter is how the local jurisdictions express their priorities to the Maryland Department of Transportation for their capital projects when they put their capital program together. On February 19th, I met with representatives from the county and the local jurisdictions, and we put prioritized all 14 items. And so we have a letter to put together, and I'm asking you guys today to approve and endorse that letter so I can mail it off to the state.
Any questions, commissioners? No? Okay,
None, sir.
I'll move that we recommend to sign, have the Allegheny County Commissioners sign the 2014 priority letter to the Maryland Department of Transportation. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Mr. Eberly, what might be on your desk concerning the consent agenda this evening?
Commissioners, this afternoon we have 3 items on your consent agenda. The first 2 items relate to procurement projects and bid awards. The first one dealing with the South Cumberland Library roof project. The second dealing with the 2014 tree planting contract. And the final item on the consent agenda this evening relates to the surplus property authorization. Commissioners, from time to time we find ourselves in possession of some real estate as a result of the tax sale process, and right now the county's in possession of 16 orphan properties, as we like to describe them. They're anomaly properties. Some of them are, for the most part, are very, very small in nature. Like we did 4 or 5 years ago, what we will do here in the near future is to run an ad in the newspaper, seeing if there's anyone who has interest in possessing any of this real estate, and from there perhaps contact the property owners who live adjacent to it to see if they have any interest as well.
Okay. All right. I'd like to entertain a motion to we accept our consent agenda.
So move.
And I will second it. All in we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody?
And this is a shame that there's one bad thing lumped with 2, so I will have to say nay.
And Commissioner McKay? Aye. Motion carries. All right. Moving right along. Mr. Eberly? Anything on your desk?
Yes, Commissioners. Next week, next Thursday, beginning at 1 o'clock here in this room, we will begin our public hearing process, and we have a dozen or so presenters next week to entertain. It's going to be a busy afternoon, but unfortunately we have a very small number of agenda items for the 20th, and so I'd like to suggest that there be a modification made to our agenda this evening and recognize that our next public meeting will likely be on Thursday the 27th as opposed to 5 o'clock next Thursday afternoon. So.
Judge, we have tickets May 27th.
I read that.
Okay.
And I'm a judge of the orphans court. I'd be happy to talk to you about your orphan property.
Okay, anything else, sir?
That's it, sir.
All right. Mr. Rudd?
I have nothing.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners? Commissioner Brody, anything?
No, nothing really this evening. I'll just explain why I did vote no against the tree planting contract. It gave me and the county engineer quite a lot of heartburn last year, and it tied me up quite a bit, and I thought it was going to actually get us hung. So that is the reason for it. Actually, other than that. The next little thing I am going to talk about, and I've kind of wondered how to enter into this, and I want to thank Matthew for not getting too involved with this, was all the hype that was blowed over a dog named Hershey in South Cumberland, and how the social media most certainly misread this terribly, and it caused the three of us quite a lot of reading. That's probably the best way to put that. And I will state this for the record. I do not answer any emails that does not come with a name or an address, because we was bombarded with emails about a dog in South Cumberland on Pennsylvania Avenue that couldn't have been farther from the truth, that we ended up having to have Mr. DeVore clarify, get vet records and all. The people still didn't want to hear that, and the family themselves and the children was threatened over this, over people that had no idea what they was talking about. And I wasn't going to bring that up, and I've been thinking about that since last week, because all three of us received how many emails on this?
A ton of them from out of state. I mean, it was just...
And there was hardly any truth to anything at all that they was printing. And then they put this on a social media site and put our three email addresses on to be contacted about this. And that is just a waste of... and not that I don't mind answering any questions at all, especially if there's some truth to it. But if for something that's no truth to it, it just sent me as chasing my tail, because I tried to look into this for a few hours to find out the truth, and then I found out that these emails were fraudulently sent. So Matthew, I want to thank you, because I know that you was probably getting the same thing on this. And
I heard a lot about it.
Yeah, and that story was 90% of that story was bogus. So that's what I have to say.
There was a dog involved.
There was a dog involved, and it was a family pet. The dog wasn't being...
Right.
Did he have 4 legs or 3 or what?
Huh?
It did have 4.
Okay.
Yep. So, what?
Under vet care.
And it is under vet care.
Yes.
And they became highly emotional because the dog went missing, and it wasn't missing. The property owner got tired of the neighbors giving him so much problems, he moved the dog inside. So the dog was getting even better care, and they really went nuts over that because they thought the dog was now missing and something terrible had happened to it.
Yeah, when parents got to bring their kids into their bedroom to sleep with them because the kids is afraid to go outside, that really disturbs me. I mean, that is just ridiculous. That people go to that extreme before they found out the truth. They just jumped to conclusions and figured something bad was going on. But sorry, sir, it's your turn there. That's all I have for this evening. So.
Anytime. This past week, I was in Annapolis on Tuesday, took part of the Leadership Allegany program, which is a program run by the Allegany County Chamber of Commerce, where they take a group of people over numerous months and teach them all they can about the operation of the county, different businesses in the county, and even state government. But while down there on Tuesday, I looked into an issue that Mr. Wilmot questioned at our last meeting. It does look like the state of Maryland will be decriminalizing marijuana this year. It's moving through, which a lot of people didn't think it'd get through this year because of it being an election year, but it does look like marijuana will become decriminalized in the state of Maryland. And then there is another issue. In fact, there was an article in the Cumberland Times about it this morning. They call it the bathroom law. And basically, in the state of Maryland, if this law passes, and they do believe it will pass, you can still put women's room, men's room on any bathroom, but either sex can use either bathroom. And the same will be true in the high schools. The boys can use the girls' room, the girls can use the boys' room. Everything will be transgender. Personally, I've got a real problem with that, and I would think that parents would have a real problem of something like that in the schools. But it looks like this is something that will be passing this year in Annapolis.
And sir, and I actually had heard that it was going to happen, and I couldn't believe that there was truth to that. So it is actually.
Well, they actually passed regulation probably 10 or 11 years ago, making it a regulation that you could have just one bathroom in a public establishment. You didn't have to have the two bathrooms. But now they're taking it to the point that it will actually become illegal to say all the men have to use this bathroom, all the women have to use that bathroom. And that's one thing in public use. People can decide whether or not to go to those establishments, but to put it in our school systems, I have a real problem with that.
And Bill, another thing, and sorry, sir, but on this decriminalization of marijuana, and I would like for you, because you're down there and you know these people, to find out, and since the state has a bunch of commercial drivers, and we have a bunch of commercial drivers, how's this going to affect our drug testing? Because anyone that, and I am one myself, have a commercial driver's license, and since marijuana stays in the system for 30 days, and I'm randomly drug tested, and I've been tested twice in the last month, and say I have an employee such we do here at the county, and they go down, they test positive, but they said that we did this on our time. What's this going to do as a country as a whole for our commercial driver's license? Because that is one of the drugs.
That would still be against your employment code. So it'd just be the same thing like drinking alcohol. You can drink alcohol at home, which is totally legal, but don't get in a vehicle and drive and get caught with the alcohol in your system, because then you're going to have.
And that's, again, is where I had this conversation with the sheriff the other day, and I said, what do you do, Sheriff? They done something, they done it 29 days ago. They did it on their time, but it stays in their system. We go under the recourse of getting rid of this employee because of this, and they come back and say that they done this on their time. It's not like alcohol 8 hours later, it's out of their system.
They smoked the marijuana on their time, but they would be in the vehicle on company time. In fact, I do believe the sheriff was in Annapolis today.
He was.
Testifying against the bill. This is another bill they feel certain will go through.
Commissioner, if I can chime in a little bit, I know about this. Our drug and alcohol policy for the people with the CDLs and so forth is actually controlled by the federal government.
Federal.
Right.
They set the standards, so those are going to supersede the state law anyway in terms of what the
And that's what I'm
levels are
wondering, is
so
how is the state law, why are they even going down this route?
Well, they're decriminalizing it, which means it may be a civil infraction. It won't be a crime.
People won't go to jail for it.
It's like a parking ticket kind of deal, but it still would be an offense. And clearly, we have a right to tell our employees you can't be under the influence or have it in your system and be operating our vehicles. And that's what the federal regulations require, and that's reflected in our policy, which had to be reviewed by the federal transportation people to be approved. So that shouldn't change any of that at this level. So.
I just hope all that's clarified, because I can just see what a road we're heading down with this. So. But, thank you.
Okay. The state of Maryland has elected people who I firmly believe don't have the best interest of the family. I don't think has the best interest of the community. And unfortunately, individuals are running the state. So anyhow, Ms. Linda, thank you very much. Okay. I'd like to remind everyone that our next public business meeting will be Thursday, March. Yes, Mr. Wilmot.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, sir.
I would just like to speak a good word for these young girls.
Yes, sir.
It's obviously that they haven't indulged in the drugs, the alcohol, the pot, and I pray and hope that you will continue on this same railroad track that you're on now. I've never smoked in my life, never drank in my life. I'm 78 years old, 20 years in the Air Force, never drank, never smoked. I've been everywhere. I now own 11 pieces of property. This is how much money you can save. And I pray for you young girls, stay on that railroad track. And if you got friends that are You know all more about it than anybody here, what's going on in high school. Tell them to get off, but thank you. Thank you for your.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Wilmot. Excellent comments, sir. Remind everyone to please see the news release about our fiscal year 2015 budget schedule, as well as the Bowling Green Water Projects public meeting, and the Allegheny County Comprehensive Plan public hearing. I'd like to thank everyone for participating in their government, and to recap a meeting I was at last night. I was at the announcement of the FFA chapter in Hancock. They had a charter chapter that started, and just like Mr. Wilmot, there was somebody in the audience who stood up and said it was really, really refreshing to see young adults who were being productive in their time, staying away from drugs, staying away from alcohol. And this person added that all these young men had short hair, but that's beside the point. But thank you again, Mr. Wilmot. I appreciate that, because that's what we need to do. Us citizens need to stand up and tell our young people what the expectations are on how they're going to be successful in life.
Our young people is the gold of the United States. All the gold in Fort Knox can't replace these two girls.
May not be any there.
My kids, I'm totally crazy. They're an inspiration to the kids that coming up through the schools and stuff. Go talk to them, say, hey, if you're going to do drugs, alcohol, or whatever, you're never going to make it. This way it is. You kids know more about it than anybody, what's going on in school.
I couldn't say it any better. We're closed.
Thank you.